Hi, Mark here. It's Tuesday, February the 3rd, 9 a.m. Eastern. That is 2 p.m. GMT. US session well underway. Let's look at the US dollar's performance. And now that the US session is getting into full swing, you can see US demand for US dollar is back again. This is the fifth consecutive day. We're looking at higher highs, higher lows, and US dollar looking to test intraday resistance at 97.55. That's alongside yesterday's resistance level as well. We'll see buyers can maintain break above this intraday resistance and continue to see US dollar strengthen. If sellers do step in, if it's going to be a turnaround of this level, sellers will look to bounce down off this current resistance and look down at support at 97.20. But certainly as the US session does pick up steam and get underway, demand for US dollar and US dollar looking strong. Let's have a look at the majors, how they're performing, starting with the euro against the US. And there you see strong US dollar again. There's the red candlesticks, selling euro, buying US dollar. US dollar testing the support area from yesterday. I've got support at 117.81. I've got resistance at 118.25. Lower highs, so not yet a lower low, but that is what we're seeing now is sellers looking to break below yesterday's low. We'll see if that can continue or if we're going to get a turnaround from strong US dollar to weak US dollar and buyers step in around this level, looking back up at the 118 or higher, but at this point, certainly strong US dollar. Let's have a look at the pound. There you see similar pattern again. Downtrend in place. EMAs have crossed to the downside, same as we saw on the euro. I've got resistance at 137.04. I've got support at 136.49. Narrow range for now. We'll see if US dollar strength continues, if this red candlestick can continue, break below the intraday support or lower. Alternatively, a turnaround from strong to weak US dollar would see buyers looking to bounce up off this level and looking up at the 137.04 resistance level. US dollar against the yen, and certainly strong US dollar here continuing. You can see the higher highs, higher low, support at 155.30. I've got support at 156.06, testing that support level right now. Buyers looking to maintain above 156 and higher. If we see continued demand for US dollar and US dollar strengthening against the yen, any kind of turnaround from strong to weak US dollar would see sellers look to bounce down off this level and looking back down at the 155.30 support level. US dollar against the Canadian. Small green candlestick, not really able to add to yesterday's gains at this point. Tight range as well. 136.51 is our support. 136.85 is our resistance. That's a really tight, narrow range for now. We'll see if buyers, US dollar buyers, can continue from yesterday's demand and yesterday's strengthening and gains. We'll see if today the resistance at 136.83 can be tested if buyers can get up to that 137 level. Alternatively, if we're going to see a turnaround, sellers will look to bounce down off this level, matching yesterday's close, and look down at the 136.51 support level. But very flat for now. Doji candlestick confirming the lack of direction. So US dollar strong this morning, continuing with what we've seen last week and yesterday. We'll see if that can be maintained, testing relevant resistance and support levels for now, or if we're going to get a turnaround from strong to weak US dollar. And a bounce down off the relevant resistance or support levels. Good trading, and I'll see you at the end of day session.